of man, body from crystal, and hourglass holds timeless and uplifted, palmless hand collector, purest woman. Landscaped, holy red, inhale, in a well, this crystal shrine, she built and designed, he seated all of the time, forgotten truth, remind, crystal body, rarity, vibrating, anomaly, crystalline, crystalline, meanness, love made this body from crystalline, her hourglass holds timeless sand.
Google Ads helps you turn curiosity into customers who are interested in what your business has to offer. Now you can reach people based on what matters most to them at just the right moment. Google Ads. Turn curiosity into customers. Visit ads.google.com to learn more.
Get the Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Bundle, including a full game download and a 3-month Nintendo Switch online individual membership. Zoom into the world of Mario and friends with a Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Bundle.
Adam's rib, ribbon, ribosomes. God taking a rib from Adam hints at an esoteric truth, while under a fabulous version, concealing a desire to force upon humanity a fabricated fiction. The rib bone, when read in Genesis, that Eve was made of, only means race, with bones produced out of a previous race and races which were boneless. This is an esoteric tale spread far and wide. It is almost universal under its various forms. A Tahitian tradition states man was brought forth out of Araria, or red earth. Tarora, the creative power, their God, put man to sleep for long years, for several lives. This means racial periods, all reference to mental sleep. During that time, deity pulled bone out of man, and she became a woman. Whatever the allegory may signify, even its exoteric meaning necessitates a builder of man, a progenitor. Does one believe in such supernatural birth? No. Occultism has never believed in anything, whether animate or inanimate, outside of nature. Adam represents the pre-lapsarian life, the characteristic of the time before the fall, innocent, unspoiled. This is the idea of entamada, one of playfulness and freedom. In reality, this Adam existed on a solar rather than a material plane and had dominion over the four elements. Fallen Adam is a perfect analogy for the old mind, a dam, a barrier formed of nothing, who ate the paradisical fruit and needed no teeth for that. No thing and ego. This delusion could go through earth and stone uninterrupted by anything save truth. I am. This delusion said it was androgynous. At first, Adam was a man, disorder, and also a woe man, pain brought about by disorder. Adam is neither man nor woman, but a representation of a fallen state of the conscious, creating the unconscious, taking the place of the rightful heirs in manifestation. I am truth, the virginal aspect of sublime wisdom, the goddess of love, the truth womb of Sundari, the beautiful world of sustenance, when she was yet within beingness. The serpent or ego and the old mind, Adam, believed itself a young man and a young maid in only one person or delusion. Ego concocted a spirit or breath from a god or false identity as the chaste virgin, and this spirit was its inherited nature from its world. Here, the ego reversed the traditional association of womanhood with a lower and less spiritual sphere than manhood. It is the young man who represents humanity, and the virgin represents the divine, the division within nature. Ego created two falls of Adam. The second of these is the conventional fall. Before this, however, Adam had already fallen by turning his imagination from the heavenly to the earthly. This is seen as an act of adultery against the divine, the divided wisdom. Thou hast committed much sin and wickedness, Sophia tells the spirit, broken thy will off from my love, and set thy desire and affection upon a stranger. This act of adultery was precipitated by the female Adam's rejection of the male Adam's sexual advances. The young man and young maid had been created to converse and embrace each other, but not to experience desire or to copulate. This is an echo of the real heir's outer aspect and disconnection from I am. Here, when the maid rebuffed the young man's attempt at seduction, he reached back after the royal man in his own center and turned towards the fabricated world. No longer able to stand, Adam entered into his 40-day sleep, foreshadowing further delusions of time, Israel, and space, wilderness. During this time, the divided nature removed the image of the heavenly wisdom from Adam's being. In Adam, the virgin, the goddess of love, disappeared, for the soul, S-O-L-E, departed out of her love for truth. In its place, Adam was given an earthly or mental virgin, Eve. This fall is thus a fall not of androgyny and gender, but a fall or separation from inner reality and forgetfulness of the outer righteous eras as the reflection of truth. It is also full of the conscious mind. It is also a fall of the conscious mind into fabrication, away from materialism. Truth, I am. Adam has gone out of the love of the second principle into a delusion called belief, in which the abyssal will become a creation in the corporeality of the four elements and subatomic particles. In this sense, this is a fall from the feminine. Beingness, as represented by the second principle, goddess of love, into the masculine, covering concrete, represented by ignorance and delusion. This androgynous Adam, or gods of other religions as bisexual, comprise the unity, inner and outer, into a duality, male, female. Some suggest male-female and life-death dualities are mythologically related. In accounts of the fall and redemption, Eve is the bringer of death, and Christ the giver of eternal life. This male-female duality has a complex relation with that of life and death. Fallen man is half dead because he is in fact only half a being. The duality of gender is itself a principle of death. Life can only be fully lived when duality is transcended into truth. The redemption is the process of regaining the singularity lost at the fall. Regeneration consists not in male-female, but in the virgin, the righteous heiress, the unmanifested goddess of love. The goddess's covenant, celestial queen of heaven, is the promise. The inner outer has become soul, S-O-L-E. the only one again, since one cannot stand in eternity in a twofold mindset, that is to say, in a masculine-feminine mental mind frame. I am truth, the first principle. When one finds her, one has found one's help and salvation. Truth. Biblically, Jesus' sacrifice is explicitly linked to the creation of Eve, because Adam was broken in the side by the rib for the wool man, that Jesus' side was pierced by a spear at the crucifixion. Now I am, the word of life, has taken the goddess of love with the celestial, heavenly, and earthly fiat from out of Adam, old mind, delusion, also a rib or bone out of his side. This is deep symbolism and anatomical sign pointing to crucifixion. The inner or feminine half of the cross and the male or outer half, which is depicted as the skull, the teeth-shaped configuration of the coronal and sagittal sutures of the skull, Golgotha, when viewed from above. One may see in the skull as also in the essences. Therefore, Jesus must die upon the cross or ego and destroy death, ignorance upon the cross. In Jesus' Adam, the virgin blood changes the goddess of love and resurrects the new mind, Sha'am, who was dead, into the celestial queen of heaven, restored within the messianic blood. I am truth. This is the reality and meaning of the covenant. The ark, the ARC, the rainbow body, and ark, ARK, Argo, the celestial ship, the individual new mind, represents circumcision, the cutting away of limiting, outmoded belief system, and retrieval of the golden fleece, the celestial queen of heaven, the golden throne, the golden thought, goddess of love, the golden throne, beingness, through the bloodshed of truth. I am the only point. Period. Now, woman has been again brought into the eternal virginity, Sundari, the truth light, in the light of the majesty, characterized by the feminine qualities of love, meekness, and humility. With this, the soul, the SOLE, singularity, wholeness, reflects oneness, and is restored to an incorruptible life, the being alive experience. For the abyss itself is the non-existence. I am the center of existence. Beingness is the extreme purity of all, the gold mine standard. The importance of the unmanifested eris in the process of redemption is signaled as sustenance of the substantive, the virgin goddess of the kingdom. There is no duality, male, female in heaven. The bridegroom is the righteous heirs in manifestation, while the bride is the unmanifested rightful heirs, reunited, redeemed, restored to the purity so-called virgin state rest together in their own marriage bed, the thalamus, the wedding chamber, the inner chamber. The union of the totality of spirit with the soul singularity descending into the prepared consciousness of the personality in order to celebrate the wedding with the purified consciousness and renewed mind. The nuptial thalamus signals the moment the union of inner-outer becomes legitimate. The nuptial thalamus is presented as I am truth, the central axis of the home, that is as the very basis of union with the sublime. The lover of truth has become the one life, one who is continually fed the holy food, the radiations that nourish the soul singularity, the new mind, Sha-Am, and new body, celestial queen of heaven, Sha-Am, new earth, celestial queen of heaven, new heaven. The similarity between rib bone, and ribbon is striking in its simplicity. Both represent opening, as in Adam's case, open to remove his rib bone, and in grand opening ceremonies, a ribbon cutting takes center stage. Ribbon cuttings have always been a symbolic representation of new beginnings, which now has become the usual practice for the opening of all new enterprises. Within the traditional Buddhism perspective, there is a much deeper meaning behind the timeless tradition. The use of gold scissors and red ribbon are both used especially. The gold scissors represent the gold mind standard, or the AU, the Buddha mind, which is pure and bright as gold, while the sharpness of the scissors represent the function of cutting away of the old mind from dullness and dross, and now has become both strong and sharp. Red ribbon is used as a representative of blood and DNA, the sustaining life force, energy, and the power of materialism. The concept behind the ribbon cutting ceremony is represented as wisdom, whose application cuts away ignorance, otherness, and negativities. The ribbon cutting is an opportunity to show genuine appreciation for one's solar vision and ultimate reality. Another symbol of ribbon is for good news. While ribbons tied together symbolize the bond between bride and groom and signifies a fresh start, a christening ceremony. Adam means red, ruddy, reddish, or firm. The name of the first man of the human race, and metaphysically means the first movement of mind in its contact with life and substance. Adam represents the generic man, or the whole human race, epitomized in an individual idea. Eve is the feminine aspect of the generic man. If the ego, or will, which is man, has adhered to wisdom faithfully and carried out her works, The plans are idealized in wisdom, harmonious consciousness. Adam in the Garden of Eden is symbolical of that consciousness. In original form, Adam is spiritual illumination. Spirit breathed within him continually the necessary inspiration and knowledge to give him superior understanding. But he began eating or appropriating ideas of two powers, God, not God, good, evil. The result, he fell away from spiritual life. Eve in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary means elementary life, termed emotions, the ability to feel. Adam and Eve do not represent thinking and feeling. They represent the ability to think and feel. It's all potential because they are still in Eden. Purity without any ignorance. They could have no knowledge of wrongdoing. This was original disobedience. The serpent represents sense consciousness, desire, sensation, activity of living in external creation, separated apart, divine, divided. Woman means love and symbolizes soul, the SOLE. Desire for sensation or activity in the external first tempts the ego, the serpent. The temptation of sense is subtle at first, entering the conscious. Adam, the old mind, to stir up doubt and slyly ask the question, why not? From the center of one's being, the life-giving, ever-bearing tree of Maya spreads her branches into every department of body-mind. Her fruits are intelligence to the new mind, substance to goddess of love, and life to the entire being alive experience, celestial queen of heaven. Adam and Eve represent duality, innocence versus identity, ignorance instead of truth. Now, life is being experienced as a twofold character. I am Maya, but childlike. Now the fall represents the pouring the upper heavens back into the unmanifest. Fall, to become less, lower, become at a lower level, degree, amount, quality, value, number, etc. Decline, to the subside, to move quickly downwards onto or toward the ground. Manifestation. Solar revelation, one discerns the cardinal error is to appropriate the pure essence, beingness, in order to experience selfish, sensuous pleasure. Genesis is represented as a past happening, but there is only the present. Therefore, Genesis is happening now. The serpent or ego slyly suggests to the old mind, Adam, to indulge in the pleasure of the senses, and that the experience will result in a deeper understanding of truth and laws. The individual will always find arguments that to one's own mind justify indulgence. This is represented as the sensation beguiling one from one's Garden of Eden consciousness. Woman, soul, SOLE, restored to singularity, I am, discerns that activity belongs to I am only. I am the only doer. The serpent, the ego, nor Adam, the old mind, have nor had existence. Their only power had been the ability to make one believe they had existence. The eyes, Isis, are the perceptive faculty of mind, and unless the perception is established in truth, one sees or perceives duality. When one delights in gnosis, one has supreme guidance. When one only has knowledge, meaning that is less than truth, one's capacity to receive from direct experience is lessened or lost. Both the serpent and Adam became involved in a counterfeit knowledge through eating ideas inappropriate due to the divided or divine nature. In the scriptures, figs are representative of the seed of man. This seed is, in its original essence, a manifested solar energy, the rightful heiress. When ideas are kept in contact with sublime mind, the deed is the reality's dream in her purity. Adam, old mind, under the influence of the serpent or ego, sins, the misappropriation of ideas, which leads to sensations. Ideas are thinking that crucify the only thought, I am. The ego and mind that is joined or one in sin, they are unclothed of the garment of truth or naked. When woman, goddess of love and wisdom, Cheyenne, the new mind, are joined in the consciousness I am, beingness inspires all the AU, the gold mind standard, all splendor I am acts, and the purified mind Cheyenne will be lifted up, that is glorified. If the goddess of love be lifted up from the earth, the old mind, Cheyenne, new mind, will draw all the ALL emanation unto myself, all ALL manifestations, celestial queen of heaven. This is the holy marriage. The cool of the day represents the relaxation or emptiness that follows soul SOLE expression. The ego and old mind, after the high tides of sensation has subsided, the voice of God, commonly called conscience, is heard. The old mind is convinced that it had acted out of harmony with the divine law. This is the start of a domino effect, experiencing sensation. Then the sensation or picture visualized by the conscious mind is impressed on the life stream and sets up a subconscious tendency. The conscious mind hides from facing the situation, taking refuge among the trees of the garden, other sensations. But this is not the way to redemption. Every idea must be dealt with. Every error is forgiven when brought to truth, whose activity of constructive thought purifies the subconscious realm of mind. Jehovah or God, one's conscience, walks continually in the garden, the body, calling unto Adam, the conscious mind. And when one surrenders the conscious mind toward I am, truth, one is in contact with the inspiration of love, beingness, and builds again the immortal consciousness, I am. The spirit operating as emotions, Eve, it is the feminine or inner aspect. It is through her affections, desires, that one becomes involved in sensation. When a desire, emotion of Eve presses for attention, one often gives way to these feelings instead of surrendering them through wisdom to conform to this higher principle, goddess of love, the goal. In truth, emotions, feeling, Eve, must be disciplined, refined, and desire for sense pleasure surrendered and released. When consciousness is purified through gnosis, the word of truth, I am, the only thought, reality force is re-established in a harmonious relations to sublime thought. Eve, the emotions, will be joined with Cheyenne, wisdom, the new mind, and the holy marriage, generation of sublime thought, will again be consummated. The ego ever seeks for an excuse to sin, putting blame on the conscience for endowing it with sensation. This is the state of delusion. Sensation is a divided creation, and every creation of the ego was considered good, because sensation is ego's favorite tool of distraction from truth. This brings one to the root of the problem, the appetite that craves stimulants and goes to excess in seeking satisfaction. Through listening to the spirit, the serpent of sense, and goes beyond contentment and becomes a glutton and drunkard of sensation. The remedy is to surrender and place the mind under the supreme inner guidance. From this standpoint, the inner teacher cultivates a mental quality of satisfaction. When Eve, the desire for sensation, leads one to dissipate the precious fruit of the tree in one's earthly garden or mind, the whole nervous system is depleted and loses capacity to contact the higher life current and supermind whole wisdom. Here one feels lack of something. One is naked. Sensation is no longer a heavenly substitute. Its ecstasy becomes nothing but a fleshly emptiness, crawling on its belly, eating dust all day. The ego was the conscious mind's attempt to have a servant, a subordinate, yet one may discern that certain principles were in operation. The conscious mind discovered the loss of communion with the supreme reality, that it was the same non-existent as the ego, and would have to suffer the conditions that follow as the result of loss of union. The seed of the woman, Eve, is the spiritual nature that comes from the fountainhead, goddess of love, the goal, the gold, GOLD. The seed of the serpent, is fallen sense consciousness, resulting in the fracturing into multiplicity, where the conscious mind atom is now dominated by its own fragmentation, fabrication. The enmity between Eve and ego, material versus fabricated. The seed that bruised the head of the serpent or ego is the first principle, I am. The heel represents the activity that one is raised up, supported by the soul, S-O-L-E, and under the arch, carried or towed. The promise of redemption represents the implication that one has within the saving consciousness, I am truth. The role Eve plays symbolizes truth in the opposite realm of manifestation. Instead of bringing forth I am the only thought within the realm of super substance, beingness, Eve is compelled to clothe its idea with blood and bring forth the material being within the earthly conscious of the old mind. Having lost consciousness, I am truth, the guiding light, leads the emotions, spirit, and returns to the highest concept of wisdom, the intelligence, bodhisattva, purified mind. Adam, old mind, the intellect, knower of outer knowledge, having lost contact with I am, the inner light, one is no longer possessed of the ability to communicate with inner light and is no longer possessed with the ability to partake through direct experience the fruits of righteousness, and is forced to cultivate the ground and toil physically in delusion. Eve is the elemental nature within living, mother of the elements, region of materiality. Eve is the lowest principle of expression through which living is evolved. As the stream of I am, truth, puts the energy emotion into matter, and Eve is recognized as the mother of living things, unreality. I am the pure life essence of beingness. Adam, the old conscious mind, and Eve, energy and motion and feelings and elementals, are individualized in matter. They are the fruit of the root, primal elemental forces of Kundalini. Jehovah, verb ho, H-O-H, forms the basis, Aho, and is the basis also of the word Eve. Due to a slight change in characters and hardening of the vowels, it no longer represents absolute life, but the struggle of elementary existence. This represents the struggle of the emotions to regain the perfect state of existence in the absolute beingness. Ho means to be, being, illuminous, absolute light. One was originally connected with the warm currents of solar radiation, but when the currents were severed by beliefs, separation, and otherness, one required protection from external invading thinking or subatomic particles, hence coats of skins. This need is evidenced by the outer skin covering the sensitive nerves of the body and dangers of infection when this covering is broken. When spirit reaches Shekhem, I am the only thought becomes supreme consciousness. The coat of skin gives way to the manifestation of the solar body, the new mind within the celestial Queen of Heaven. As spoken by Paul, corruptible flesh, thinking is the fabrication of corrupt ideas in the mind. Be ye transformed, changed by the renewing of the mind. Duality represents the two poles, divided divinity, good, evil. This is fabricated thinking, for there is only a single pole, love, beingness. Opposite, yet not adverse to each other, Goddess of Love and Celestial Queen of Heaven. I am truth axis brings the revelation and proper inner, over, outer understanding to the four cardinal directions. Celestial Queen of Heaven, Goddess of Love, Cheyenne, I am, rightful heiress. The fall is the lost consciousness of equilibrium of I am truth. Ego became independent of wisdom and unbalanced, and an unbalanced condition in both mind and body was set up. The old mind, Adam, the misappropriating state of mind, used the forces of beingness toward the expression of a conscious adverse to I am truth. Omnipresent wisdom closed the door to the within until one should again enter into the garden by establishing the sublime consciousness. I am the way. The garden symbolizes the new mind, the new earth. Where dwells the Bodhisattva, purified consciousness, the pattern of the original sublime idea. The garden is the substance of beingness. Eden is a state of perfect relations among the ideas of beingness. I am, kissing, the Goddess of Love, Celestial Queen of Heaven, tulips, or two lips. The Garden of Eden is I am, the resurrected consciousness. The old mind had developed a conscience apart from truth, where it had to till the ground, the old earth, from whence it was taken. That is, come into the realization of I am truth as the substance of one's being and express or surrender in harmony with sublime truth. Wisdom, I am, and love, Goddess of Love, are joined in beingness, and a perfect balance, Cheyenne, Celestial Queen of Heaven, is struck in consciousness. Between gnosis, inner direct experience, and outer actualization. The word cherubim refers to protection of the sacred life. The inner soul, Goddess of Love, is protected and reflected as the outer singularity, Celestial Queen of Heaven. I am the flame of a sword, the sublime word. Oneness unites with the inner word, truth, the sacredness of wholeness, beingness. And is in science, Adam's rib has been defined as ribosomes. All living cells contain ribosomes, which are tiny organelles composed of approximately 60% ribosome RNA and 40% protein. Those represent just a few of the molecules of a cell needs to make just one protein. A cell needs over 75 helper molecules all working together in harmony to make one protein or R group series. These molecules are RNA, messenger, transfer, and ribosoma RNA, highly specific proteins. Ribosomes don't act directly in DNA, but on expendable base pair copies of DNA called messenger RNA or mRNA. The way ribosomes establish genetic coding systems completely transcends the inherent properties of DNA bases. Ribosomes are molecular machines which consist of 50 specific proteins and 3 large RNA molecules. Its overall 3D shape gives a ribosome 2 adjacent seats, each precisely shaped to hold 3 and only 3 bases, thus establishing the triplet coding system. The Trinity. This coding system is not based on time, chance, and the properties of the bases, but on plan, purpose, and intelligent design. In the structure of the ribosome is the arrowhead. Nothing supernatural, complex, or even unusual is involved, and the function of the ribosome is easy to understand and explain. In both the ribosome and arrowhead, the evidence of manifestation is not in what can't be seen or don't know. It's in the pattern of order inherent that is seen and can explain matter shaped and molded to accomplish the purpose of emanation, not to satisfy inherent chemical properties. Ribosomes establish the amino acid code names for making proteins because it takes specific proteins to establish the code for making specific proteins. So here in materiality, as in Genesis, the fabulous novel, the great mystery of Adam and Eve and the serpent reveal a system within a multitude of systems. One may exclaim, Genesis is quite a book, and wanting to read another book like it, one asks a friend, wow, where can I get a bottle of that ink? No, of course one wouldn't give ink and paper credit for writing the book. One would praise the author and look for other books by the same writer. By some twist of logic, though, many who read the fabulous DNA script or scriptures want to give credit to the ink, DNA base code, and paper, proteins, for composing the code. In the novel, the Bible, the body, ink and paper are merely the means the author uses to express her thought. In the genetic code, DNA bases and proteins, words which are meaningless, but nonetheless try to explain sublime mind, thought. The real credit for the message in a novel, scripture, goes to the author, not ink and paper. And the real credit for the genetic message in DNA goes to the author of life, sublime truth, not to the reader or interpreter. The specified complexity in a DNA gene sequence has very high information content. The first information is independent of the material that carries it. The message is the same no matter the medium it is conveyed upon, including genetic messages which have inherent kind of design, reflecting plan, purpose, and special acts of manifestation. Thus, the meaning of a message lies with the source, not the carrier. Second, information comes only from pre-existing information. Sublime mind. Biblically, this concept is expressed as in the beginning. Truth. Genesis 1:1. And as in the beginning was the Word, I am. John 1:1. The word I am, truth, connotes sublime plan, cause for being. DNA ties one back to the ultimate source of meaning and purpose for the whole, beingness, love. In this sense, Genesis and the Bible prove to be ahead of its time as it represents presence. It's not the dust that one is composed of that makes one special. It's the way one is put together with beautiful design, love, and organization, truth. When that organization is lost, one returns to dust. The simple element breaking down into simpler parts when left to the ravages of time, chance, and chemistry. I am orderliness, introducing levels of order and organization that greatly enrich the range of consciousness, one of exhilarating heights and the splendor of the Supreme Nature. Now is one's opportunity to relish in childlike wonder. Mahala, Mahaloa, Mahamayuri, Mahasandi, Maha Platinum Platisara.